Hi, this is me, Dara, at Elsa, and I'm here today to talk about the upcoming Saturn-Pluto conjunction. With these two big bodies aligning, it's natural that there's a little bit of fear. When the planet of comeuppance and the planet of death and destruction come together, it's understandable that there would be a little bit of panic. All of us are fundamentally asking the same question, wondering what will become of me. The great thing about that question is that it is so primal and fundamental. Humans have been asking it for millennia, since we had the capacity for abstract thought. And when we ask questions that are this deep and human, I think that the best way to handle it is through myth. As I meditated on this, I realized that the perfect story comes from my old and well-loved copy of Women Who Run with the Wolves. So sit back, because it's story time. At the very edges of the desert, where men fear to tread, lives Loba, the wolf woman. And Loba's sacred work is to collect bones. And in her cave, she has bones of all manner of creatures, but her specialty is wolves. So every night she goes out searching. She crawls on her belly in the riverbeds, and she scales the mountains, always collecting bones. And when she finally has a full wolf, a full skeleton, she goes back to her cave and she assembles it into a beautiful, glistening white sculpture. And then she sits around her fire and she thinks deeply about what song to sing. And when she's decided, she stands up and she begins to sing. As her voice reverberates through the cave, the flesh begins to appear again on the bones. As she sings more, fur begins to sprout and the tail becomes upright. As she sings still more, the wolf begins to draw breath into its lungs. And as she sings yet further, the entirety of the desert vibrates with her voice. And the wolf opens its eyes and it begins to run. As it runs out into the night, at some point, either the sun or the moon or the shadows will strike it just right. And when that happens, it turns into a woman, and she's laughing, and still she runs. I think this is the perfect myth for Saturn and Pluto. Saturn, of course, ruling bones, and Pluto taking us down to only what is essential. Saturn-Pluto strips us to our bones. But what Loba shows us is that there's nothing to fear. As long as we have those bones, that deep fundamental core of our truth, of ourselves, we're going to be okay. Because when the worst happens and we are nothing but our bones, we simply need to go back and collect them and assemble them. And at that point, we can sing ourselves back to life. This has been me, Dara, at Elsa. Thanks.